Okay, so how do you date while having children?
Okay, so dating while having children. One, you need to make sure, and this is especially real for women, but men too, you have to make space for someone to come into your life.
That's huge.
So a lot of women with kids, and even some men, they expect someone new to fit into, like, be convenient to them. It's like, oh, respect what I got going on, and I shouldn't have to change anything because I'm the one with the child.
Right. Hey y'all, it's Mojo Motion Podcast. I'm KV.
I'm Shelby, and we have a very special guest in the building.
He is a relationship coach and a dating coach, formerly known as Stephan Speaks.
We're excited to have him on to answer all of your questions and dating and relationship concerns.
So tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself.
My real name is Stephan Speaks. Known as Stephan Speaks. Been doing this for about 15 years and written over 10 books, and I'm just all about helping people with their relationships and overall quality of life, spirituality, a lot of different aspects.
And we love that.
Really,
we love that.
And with that being said, what's your relationship status?
We're just gonna get straight into it. We're gonna get right into it.
It is single.
Okay, are you dating anybody?
Since I just transitioned as far as where I'm living and moving, no, at the moment I'm just trying to get stuff in order.
Okay.
And so, like, what made you want to become a relationship coach?
It was all God.
It was all God.
Yeah, I would have never chosen this. Like, my degree is in IT.
Okay, wow.
Oh, that's good.
I graduated actually from FIU.
Oh.
Okay, we attend FIU.
Okay.
Go Panthers.
Yeah, and it's just after that, a lot of people graduate, never use their degree.
Yeah.
I was doing real estate investment. I was managing a call center. And then through a series of spiritual events, it led to me then feeling like I was, hearing God say, move to Georgia.
Right.
And then from there, just one thing after another, and me just constantly asking God, what do you want me to do next?
Just through your
And
experiences.
it started with a book, then it was a blog, then it was get certified as a coach, and then now it's
Isn't there one called He's Lying, Sis?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So how do you define a healthy relationship?
To me, a healthy relationship is one that two people can be truly themselves, have great communication, and pouring positivity and love into each other.
Okay.
Consistently.
Correct.
I agree. I agree. And, like, what are your top qualities you look for in a woman?
Top qualities I look for.
We all want to know what Stephan looks for in a woman.
What's your picture perfect woman?
There's no perfect woman.
Perfect woman.
Feminine energy is huge. Like, can't overlook that. Positive energy, which to me they kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
But I still want to make sure, because a lot of women feel like they're feminine, but they don't realize that they're not positive.
Right.
They're negative, and that's still going to be a problem. Health conscious. All right.
You got to be in the gym.
Yeah, and I mean, at least to some degree,
Yeah.
doing some kind of keeping yourself up, exercise. Because it's really important on how it affects your mood,
I
your
agree.
energy.
100%.
Like, I'm all about protecting my peace.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't like to invite any kind of stress into my life.
Or any negative energy.
Exactly. So to me, a woman who understands how she can create her peace within herself
Right.
and take care of herself is going to be able to align with that.
And bring peace to the house.
Exactly.
Belief in God. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be in alignment spiritually in
Right.
that sense. So,
super important.
Yeah, you gotta have that. And then if there's anything else, nothing else right now comes to mind. Those are probably the top.
Those are good though. Those are good.
Yeah.
Okay. How does one go about dating differently than what you've done in the past to avoid negative dating patterns?
Well, first you gotta recognize why you were in that pattern of behavior.
That's true.
Why did you keep choosing those people? And for a lot of individuals, it stems from figuring out what trauma you haven't healed from.
Right. So it's more to do with the person.
Yes, absolutely. And now some of it is, there's just certain things we like.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
and we
true.
don't know how to separate, or people tend to struggle with separating, like, what you like from what you should not accept.
Exactly. 100%.
So, like, I always argue that, a lot of men will say women don't like good men. And I'll be like, no, they want a masculine man.
Exactly.
Right.
The problem is, unfortunately, especially when a woman is younger and even older, she might meet a dude who's a bad guy, but he exudes more masculine energy, and because she's drawn to that, she thinks, okay, I can work through the rest.
So then she's conditioned to finding men like that.
Exactly.
And until she recognizes that, no, it's you can't overlook the red flags and the issues because you like these other things about him. And you got to understand that there's a man who can have both, but it takes time.
It does take time.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just recognizing what is for you, what isn't for you, but also understanding why you kept choosing that kind of individual.
Because it may be something deeper within yourself.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So are there any do's and don'ts when first dating someone, first meeting someone?
For women?
Both. This was a question asked by our audience, so we're just like, okay.
Okay, do's and don'ts. I mean, it depends on what your aim is. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you looking for something serious?
Say if you're looking for something serious and you go on a first date, are there any do's and don'ts?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say what comes to mind. All right. One, don't interrogate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, have a conversation.
Yeah.
Ask your questions. But understand, like, think about the energy behind an interrogation. It's more aggressive.
Yes.
It's a little negative. I think a lot of women don't recognize that you're talking to him in a kind of way that's rubbing him the wrong way.
And he's not going to react to you well.
Exactly. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
So, yes, ask your questions, but check your attitude, check your energy. You know what I'm saying?
It needs to flow nicely.
Exactly. And you shouldn't have to be forcing questions. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be talking about, I don't know, how we like the outdoors, and then I know you're like, how much money do you make? Like,
you gotta flow. You gotta flow. No, I agree.
Naturally,
Don't force it. Another don't would be, again, this is what I feel the need to mention.
Go ahead.
Don't focus so much on the experience of the date. Focus on the content.
Like be there with that person.
Yeah, because what I mean is, like, I remember I had a dude who he went on a couple dates with this girl he really liked. But he was like, yo, I don't know if she likes me. She seems like she's not, reciprocating as much. I was like, all right, well, where'd y'all go on the first date? And they went to like a little baby concert or something like that. And I was like, that was the
It didn't set the mood,
The mood. The problem is you giving her an experience that no matter what, but if she likes you or not, she's gonna want to go if she likes you. And she's gonna have a good time. But it's blinding y'all from seeing if y'all can actually enjoy each other.
Exactly.
So now she's caught up in these experiences and not learning the person and vice versa.
Right.
Exactly.
So to me, I think there's too much emphasis made on the first date. Like, I don't know, y'all saw that viral video about the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
So to me, it's like, yo, I understand women want a certain quality, but at least for that first date, I feel like the first date should really just be that initial interview.
What about like a walk in the park?
That's nice.
Walk in the park,
Okay.
ice cream, coffee.
Something slight.
Where you guys can actually talk
and get to know each other.
Now, if we graduate past first date, then we can get into
Then we can get to a nice dinner and stuff like that.
Doing all that, and don't get me wrong. There's gonna be some dudes who, if they got money, they don't care, and that's fine. Everybody has to do what works for them. But I do think, make sure you're not doing something that takes away from your ability to really learn the person.
I feel like first date dinners are so like everyone's tense.
And I feel like everybody's nervous.
Right, exactly.
So I do think a stroll in the park or ice cream is kind
something light.
Keep it simple. So focus on the content, not the experience. And then another don't. I just feel like don't be something you're not.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a really big one.
I think people go into dates, they want to impress this person, they want to catch their attention, but it's like, if you're not being who you are,
then you won't truly know if you connect with that person.
Exactly, and you set yourself up because like with dudes, you'll see a dude, he gets with a girl who's very beautiful, and he's like, all right, I gotta spend money.
He gotta do the most.
Exactly.
But your real budget is Popeyes and Hennessy. Like, you ain't got 5-star money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you start making her think you can provide this fancy lifestyle,
she's gonna get used to it.
Exactly. And then when you can't sustain it and the true you comes out, she's frustrated. Now you feel like, oh, she didn't really like me for me. Well, because you
pretended to be someone you weren't.
You was trying to keep up an image that you couldn't keep up with.
Be you, because if that person's really into you, then it'll work itself out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think both sides, men or women, need to be mindful of not being something they're not.
Yeah, and I feel like people have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a lot of pressure nowadays.
It is, especially in Miami. People try to walk around with all the chains and, So, what are some signs of love bombing?
Signs of love bombing. All right, so one, we got to start with the understanding that it's only a love bomb when it's a one-sided thing.
100%.
So I've
agree.
seen some situations where a woman meets a man and they really hit it off. Like they feel this instant connection. And so now he's going hard and he's ready to make this serious. Like he's not wasting no time. And then she got her girlfriends and family say, oh, he's love bombing. It's like, wait a minute. It's not a love bomb because you felt the way he did.
Exactly.
The difference is you're afraid to embrace that.
Exactly.
He's like, I know what I want. I know what I have in front of me. So why am I holding back? You see what I'm saying? So to me, you got to be careful with that. Now, if it is just, oh, he's going hard and you know you don't feel him like that.
Right.
Okay, now we got love bombing going on.
Exactly. That's a different story.
Exactly. And to me, that's when just the person's just overdoing it. Like just going super hard, trying to move things along really fast, rush things. And I think that's also the key is if you attempt to slow things down and he's still trying to push 100 miles per hour,
then there's a deeper issue.
Yeah, that's kind of how you know.
Right.
Exactly, because if he's really feeling you and he's trying to make this is a real thing for him, he's gonna be willing to be like, all right, let me not throw things off. Let me consider how she feels, and at least slow things down.
Exactly. Let's indulge in this.
He's
process.
gonna be considerate of her feelings.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
So when dating, should you take that too good to be true feeling as a green flag or a red flag?
I feel like it always depends.
No, I think it does too.
No, listen. So this is a problem for women. All right? This is a problem for women because when men meet a girl who's amazing, I'm not saying some men don't have the too good to be true situation, but he'll just assume she's different.
Okay.
She's special. So he wants that. Like that's just something serious for him. But for women, y'all are so conditioned to thinking men are trash or men are gonna do something
Why
wrong.
he had to say y'all?
Right? So when he shows up amazing, you're like, nah, this can't be it.
Yeah.
So the first flag is in you.
Okay.
Like why are you so quick
to jump to a conclusion?
Exactly. If he's been consistent, and I'm not saying there's never been a dude, of course, playing that game and just coming strong.
Because people do that.
Absolutely. But I believe that women's intuition sees
strong.
things even when it's a guy acting like all perfect.
Right.
All right? But you got to know the difference between your intuition and your fear.
Exactly.
Right.
And in this too good to be true scenario, it's a lot of times it's fear popping up. You know what I'm saying? And if he's doing everything consistently, just roll with it. Because then what happens is, in believing it's too good to be true, women, whether consciously or subconsciously, start self-sabotaging the situation.
They do.
They do.
All right? So now you start looking for something to be wrong, and if you can't find something, you try to create something. So now, let's just say one day, he's talking to you and you give him an attitude, and then he reacts out of frustration and does something stupid. Now you're like, you see, you are that bad dude. Like, it's like now you don't validate it.
Now you do.
But it's like you created that.
Yes.
You
brought it
pushed
into
his
the
button.
situation, right?
He wouldn't have done that if he didn't handle it that way.
100%.
To me, if he's showing up 100%, then you show up 100%.
Right.
Because liars can't keep the lie going forever. So if you come in with your full energy, at some point
he's gonna fall off.
The user will fall off.
Right.
The dude who's serious is gonna be like, man, I got a good woman. I'm gonna keep.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not gonna fall short.
So don't just go with it and not be so quick to look at it in a negative way.
So many people say don't be a wife in a girlfriend role. How do you not mesh the two? Like, how do you remain a girlfriend and then when you get to the wife role, just be a wife? Like,
all right, so this is a very tricky situation. The problem is, I'm trying not to make it a long story. But the problem is the way that we created this boyfriend-girlfriend relationship is basically like a fake marriage. All right, it's a practice.
It's a
marriage.
trial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell someone in today's world to don't act like a wife when you're a girlfriend, when we made girlfriend basically be wives.
Right.
And the man wants to see how that woman can be as a wife. He want to show qualities and everything.
You just can't overdo it.
Now, I
agree.
think if y'all aren't even official,
then it's too much. I agree.
But if you guys are official, and the key is is he pouring into you as you are pouring into him? So if you over there cleaning his house, cooking meals, all
And he
this
not
stuff,
doing anything for you.
yeah, then to me you're doing too
Yeah.
much. Now you're acting like a wife to a man who's not even your boyfriend.
Right.
He just
That's a
carries
red
the
flag.
title.
That's a big one.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just about, all right, if two people are pouring into each other, it's hard for me to say, oh, you're doing too much.
Or you can't do
when
this, you
he's
can't do
honoring
that.
and respecting what
Right.
you're pouring
Right.
into him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But for those who still feel like, yo, you shouldn't be doing certain things until you're married, I do think the idea, like you mentioned, they want to see if you can do certain things.
Right, have certain qualities.
I think on both sides, there's a misunderstanding. Like, I don't need you to technically cook for me every day or every week to know you, to see you know how to cook.
Right.
You could have shown me that with a few meals.
Yeah.
You could have been cooking for yourself and just gave me a taste of the food, and I would have learned.
I
that.
agree.
Exactly.
So to me, we're asking sometimes. We really just want the convenience and the benefit.
Yeah.
All right. And
Before
we're
you
using
put
the
that
wife
wife
to see
role.
if you can do it. It's like, come on, we don't gotta do it forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
So how do you know when someone is genuinely interested? Let's keep in mind, this is not my question. Let's keep in mind, this is questions from the
Genuinely
audience.
interested. So generally interested in a serious relationship.
Yes.
All right. So
Actually, we know this person. Yes, he would like to know how to know
Oh, it's a man asking.
yes, it's a man who is
Okay.
maybe like a club promoter,
Okay.
and you know he's around a lot of women who may use him or you know wants him for things that are not genuine. So he wants to know how he can differentiate the two.
Yeah.
A woman who's genuinely interested in him,
Yeah.
okay.
and a woman who's just playing games.
Did he
with
mean
him.
relationship though, or just like him? Like,
I think he means relationship. I mean, he's like a
okay.
30-year-old man. So
Okay. So it's another tricky situation because, and I say this respectfully, women know how to put on the act really good.
they do.
Better than men. All right.
they say women are like cats.
And so it's harder for a man to evaluate a genuine woman than it is for a woman to evaluate a genuine man.
Right.
However, I think first step is what I find is with men who are in powerful positions, have money, all this stuff. There's always this fear of I don't know if she really likes me
Right.
for me.
Right.
And part of the reason why that fear exists is because he doesn't have confidence in who he is as a man for that woman to like him for things other than
So
that
it's something
power, that
within
money.
himself.
I think,
Yeah.
I believe it starts there because
Yes.
every man I know who is now successful but was getting women even when he wasn't
Right.
is not worried about
Does she
that.
want me for me?
Because women have always
Yeah.
wanted him even when he
Yes.
didn't have
So
those
it must
things.
be something deeply rooted within
Yeah,
himself.
That makes
And
sense.
When you
I
haven't
agree.
had that, you start to question
it.
So I do think that one, you got to be confident as who
In
you are
who
as
you
a
are.
man, and you do need to identify there's things you need to work
I
on.
agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, past that, to me again, because there's no 100% way to know someone's genuine or not. But the main thing, what I notice with these situations is these men get so caught up in trying to impress the
Right.
woman. It's like they're doing for her, but what is she actually doing for him?
For him.
Exactly.
And that's when you're gonna see how real she is.
Right.
Because the woman who's at least if there's a good chance, because she could still be playing the game.
Right.
Because she could be smart, right? But for the most part, if she's not willing to reciprocate or do things for you,
Right.
then you know that's a wrap.
Then, yeah.
She's not
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, she don't like you like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if she's willing to,
To
if you
pour
need
into
something
you.
done, and
Go the extra mile.
yeah, make sure
Yeah.
you're good, then that's the way you know that
Okay.
she's genuine. Or at least you give her the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And to me, as long as she's pouring back into you or you pouring into her,
Then you just roll with the punches.
Yeah, and I think sometimes men just need to take the risk. I think everybody's too
I think
scared
everyone
these days.
overthinks things.
Yeah, too scared or overthinks or just analyzes things too much. If you
Yeah.
like a girl and you want to see if she likes you back, you might have to just.
I think
put
there's a lack
yourself
of
out there.
communication too
Yeah.
within dating.
There's not enough
I feel like it's a big
conversation.
problem.
it is. But also, again, I think like it's tough for some dudes because like I've seen dudes where let's say he's older, he got money. He gets with this girl, and we all know, like, you wouldn't have gotten her otherwise. Like, that's not even front. Like, it's like that money
Yeah.
makes a difference. And so she can say, I like him so much, but it's like, But then even in those situations, there's usually some kind of disconnect. What I find is that when a woman really is interested in a man, like, she has to hold herself back from doing too much.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So if she can sit there and not show up and not, if you say, yo, I want to hear from you more often, and she doesn't do that, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That means she's not really feeling you like that. So to me, you know, you just have to, I don't want to say put someone to the test, but let it be known what you need and see if she handles that correctly.
Understood. Okay. Is there a way to prevent heartbreak?
Nah.
Nah.
There's no way.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's part of finding who you.
And those are the lessons you learn. But somebody did ask that, like, sometimes people get their heart broken so many times.
Or they cause their own heartbreaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we can't stop it for sure because we can't control the other person involved in the situation.
That's true. And you can't control how you feel.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, no matter what you do, let's just say, this is going to be a wild example, but let's just say you with a person, everything's been going great. One day they smoke some weed, it was laced with something, and they go crazy, and now you lose your partner. And you're heartbroken. You cannot control the fact that they smoke some laced weed.
Yeah.
It's just, and I know people who smoke laced weed and they're having mental health issues.
That was a wild scenario.
Right, like,
I use that example. Right? Just work with me, but hey. But
it was
I
valid.
want to show an example of something that's completely out of your control.
Yeah.
Right.
However, I do think we can limit heartbreak by stop expecting things from people.
That's true.
And having boundaries.
And recognizing the red flags.
Yes. But I think that expectation part is so big because we get our heart broken because we think, like, let's not even use relationships for a second. There's a lot of people who have trauma or hurt from their parents.
Right.
And one of the reasons is because one of the reasons is because you grow up thinking, well, that's my parent. They're supposed to do X, Y, D. They're supposed to be there for me. They're supposed to love me. They're supposed to protect me. But they're human beings.
Yeah.
And they're flawed.
Yes.
And they have their own issues. That doesn't make it okay. It's not an excuse. But when we start to understand that you can't expect anything out of anyone.
Right.
You set your standard.
I agree.
And they're either going to meet it or they're not. You know what I'm saying? But I don't expect. So if I go on a date with a woman, I'm not expecting you to do anything. I'm going to see if you do it.
If you do
if
it,
you
right.
don't, all right, cool. It's life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not for everybody. And we're not for everybody. That's exactly. But it's the expectation part
that causes
that really creates this huge disappointment.
100%.
I agree with that. This video is sponsored by Vior water. So y'all, after a long podcast day, I needed some hydration.
Yeah.
And what did I get? Vior water.
Vior water.
It's so smooth. It hydrated me. Has electrolytes. Everything.
Yeah. And your throat gets real hoarse.
Yes, it does. I think it's because we use our voice so much.
Well, listen. All I know is water is life for me. So I'm gonna always have it. And this Vior water has been great. So I really enjoy drinking this stuff.
Okay. I know
Cheers.
that's right. Okay. So how do you date while having children?
Okay, so dating while having children. One, you need to make sure, and this is especially real for women, but men too, you have to make space for someone to come into your life.
That's huge.
So a lot of women with kids, and even some men, they expect someone new to fit into, like, be convenient to them. It's like, oh, respect what I got going on, and I shouldn't have to change anything because I'm the one with the child.
Right.
No, if you want someone, you have to be flexible too. And so it's hard to do that if you wait until you meet someone.
That's true.
Right.
What you should do is, if you know that's what you desire in your life,
Prepare for it.
Prepare the space for that person. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you can be flexible, or don't tie yourself to things that if someone comes into your life, you're not going to be able to make adjustments.
Okay.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because now you're just blocking the situation.
Be able to
Blocking your
adjust.
blessing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think also when you're dating with kids, I think it's tough because there's a lot of things with kids that are just unexpected variables. You could be dating someone and your kid gets sick and it throws everything off. They gotta go to the emergency room or something.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to control that. I just think the making space, I believe in not introducing the kid
early on.
until you know, not even just early on, until you know you and this person are
serious.
You want to take that next step and be for real. Then we introduce the kids.
I agree.
Because if you do it before then, you run the risk of that revolving door.
Because I have this friend who she introduced someone she was talking to her kids, and he did not care about the kids at all. Like, I'm talking, like, she said hello, he just disregarded the child.
And I can almost guarantee he wasn't really serious about that.
Exactly.
And that's what I
Because
said.
any man
That shows a lot.
really into that woman, he wants to at least try to
Or
be
interact with the child. I said, are you
100%.
serious?
Yeah, at least being nice.
Exactly.
Like some
He
guys
literally-
really like into kids.
Into
like
kids,
that.
yeah.
That's what I
But
said. But
you
he
can
has
still
his
be
own
nice.
kids.
Oh, see,
Because I
that's-
asked, does he have kids? Yes, he has his own kids.
He might not be into his own kids. I mean,
Right.
That's crazy though, Stefan. That's
Like,
crazy.
That's real though. Like,
Yeah.
there's men who just that's not their thing. But I would argue that they would still at least be cordial.
Yeah,
nice,
he didn't
wanna
even
try
say
to make it
hello.
work.
Right.
To me, that's just like I ain't trying to get involved with that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just here to have fun.
That was a big red
I don't
flag.
need to deal with your children.
Exactly.
That's
That
crazy.
guy, that's what he would.
Yeah, that's probably
Right.
what he was
You
thinking.
know what I'm saying?
I was also gonna say, how do you go about the baby mamas and the baby daddies though? Like, date.
Dealing with that.
Yeah. Like,
So to me, if you're the person dating someone who has the baby mama
Yeah.
baby dad drama, that's their problem.
right.
That's not for you to handle.
That's true.
So and so that's another thing. If you are dating with children, you need to handle your situation.
Handle your
If you have a
business.
crazy baby daddy or baby, that's you gotta.
Yeah, you gotta handle that.
Because
Yeah.
they will sabotage your whole situation.
They
Mm-hmm.
will.
You know what I'm saying? So too many people are sweeping that mess under the
And being
rug
too nice.
And trying to enter new situations, and it's causing
with it
problems.
being unresolved. And what I find is that the reason why there's so much drama between baby daddies and baby mothers is because at least one person tends to be hurt that y'all not still together.
Exactly.
Yep.
Someone is
That's
salty
the
that
one.
this did not work out. You know what I'm saying?
Someone's
and
salty.
So
Yeah.
if you don't address that properly, it's gonna linger and they're gonna become a thorn in your side.
Right.
You have to respectfully be able to sit down with them and discuss it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And see if we can bring peace.
I
to it.
agree.
100%. Okay. I was also gonna say, how do you keep your individuality while being in a healthy relationship?
Well, one, if you can't be an individual, to me, then we can
Then that's the
question if it's
wrong
even
person.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think we just have to be real about who we are.
Yeah.
And we got to stop trying to be with people who don't fit with us. So, like, I learned that even recently or later in my life where I'm a very ambitious individual.
Right.
And I like my space at times. And so I know I need a partner that can operate in their own space.
Right.
Because there are some women who they want to be up under you 24/7.
24/7.
And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to find you a man who likes to do that too.
Exactly.
Or who can accommodate that.
Yeah.
I know I can't accommodate that. I travel a lot. I got work. And when
Right.
I work, I want to be in my own space, no distractions.
You don't want
things
someone
of that
following up
nature.
on
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we can. I mean, of course, I'm gonna make sure I point you, give you
course.
time. But I think there are some women who can handle that and be very happy, and there's others that they'll try to accept that, but it doesn't.
Later
But
on
that's
their
not really
issues.
what she wants.
Exactly. So I think it's just being true to who you are. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to force things with people that we just don't fit with. Like
Right.
Right.
and recognizing, like, even when in being an individual, people are letting society tell them what is acceptable or
I
not,
agree.
right? So you have some people that say, like, I have a family member, she's grown, but she's Caribbean and she loves a party. You know what I'm saying? Like, Caribbean love parties.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
it is.
true.
They do.
So for someone else might say, oh, well, you grown, you don't need to be at no party. But that's who she
That's
is.
who
And that's what she
is,
likes
right.
to do.
Yeah,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let her do her. I think everyone needs to just proudly walk in who they are. And then again, be with the person who respects
Right.
and honors that.
Right. Do you think individuality should exist in a relationship though? Because I
It
was
has
talking to
to.
somebody and they were like, they want to merge, and it's okay with them. It works for them.
And so I think that's the key. So I think for some people, they may not care for that.
Yeah.
That's not their thing, and that's fine. If you find a person who's all into that merging, do that, right? Like, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But then you have individuals who do like to have their individual
Yeah.
life. Now,
Right.
I view being an individual as necessary in
Right.
a relationship. Like, I need you to have your own world outside
And your own
of
life.
me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're
One-
not just prowling on me all the time.
that, and also I feel like it just adds more. Like, if I'm your whole world, we can only talk about the same.
It's
thing
gonna
so
get
many times.
boring.
That's so
That's
true.
how you keep the
That's
excitement,
so
having
true.
your
Yeah.
own
We
life.
got the
Yeah.
same damn conversation.
Yeah, no,
Every
for real.
day.
That's
Deja vu
boring.
every day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But if you have a life of your own, you have friends, your family, whatever.
We bring so much value to conversation.
Yes,
Exactly.
now we can add different things that's going on, and we can
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
all this stuff. So to me, I think it's healthy. I think it's necessary. But I'm all for if two individuals just don't care for that
The whole time.
Yeah, and it's just them two and against the work. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
If that's what works for them.
Yeah.
So how do you resolve a reoccurring issue that is occurring in a relationship?
How do you resolve a reoccurring issue that keeps occurring in a relationship? You cut their ass off. No,
I know that's right, Stephan.
Basically.
For real.
I mean, listen, if you've addressed it and it's still not being corrected, what are we doing?
Then what are we doing?
That doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand. I'm all for giving someone a chance.
Yeah.
Like, I don't knock you for the first time you got something wrong. And I don't knock you if you've been getting it wrong and you never knew it was wrong.
Right.
I haven't expressed to you this is a problem.
Then how would you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't like the idea of, well, they should know better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No. You have to talk to them.
Yeah.
Now, after I talk to you and make it clear, this is a problem.
Right.
And you keep
doing it intentionally.
Over and over.
If it's
Yeah.
nasty, then it's even worse.
Yeah.
Then it's done.
Right.
And now that's very different from, let's say you express this issue, let's say you're expressing to a man, and it's something that he's not used to.
Right, so he has to kind of like get into it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen right away.
So he's making progress, but he still has his moments where he slips up.
Yeah.
To me, you have to look at the overall
That's
picture.
understandable,
He's been
right?
making progress, he's getting better. All right, let's keep it going.
Right.
But if he's just flat out not
Just
fixing
not
anything
caring.
and not
Yeah. Cut their ass off. Cut their ass off.
Okay. How do you forgive your partner for their hurtful behaviors in the past?
How do you forgive your... Well, okay. So one, we have to understand that forgiveness is not just for them, it's for you. It's not even for them, it's for you, period. All right? So to me, everything is forgivable. All right? But not everything is acceptable.
That's true.
I agree.
So I'm going to forgive you because we have to release this.
Yeah.
And I think at the heart of forgiveness is, again, it goes back to the whole expectation.
Right.
And we have these unrealistic expectations of people and thinking that this person's supposed to be perfect.
Right.
Like, it's almost like there's this quote, and I understand the quote, I kind of like the quote, but I think it's very misguided in a different way.
Yeah.
It'll say, like, a man will never put himself in a position to lose you. So essentially, he'll never make a mistake if he really loves you. That's unrealistic.
Yeah, it's
That's true.
If
unrealistic.
I'm with
Yeah.
you long enough, I'm going to do something
Of
that
course,
pisses you off.
right.
Like,
That's normal though.
yeah, at some point. And trust, you probably did something that pisses him off too.
While we're on that, do you believe in like testing women? Like a man just
Oh my
testing
God.
a woman to see.
I don't believe in testing.
You don't believe in
To
it?
me, testing is game.
I got
Yeah,
you.
I
High
agree. A lot of men do that. I
I
agree.
hate test,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that happens a lot.
It does in the dating stage
Yeah,
here.
To me, you don't need to test. Just be aware.
Right.
Just pay attention. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? There's plenty of opportunities in dating to see if somebody is not who they need to be or there's a red flag.
Right.
We don't have to test because tests are typically very deceptive.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I remember a dude used to say, yeah, I'll show up to, supposedly he was successful and had money. And he said, I'm going to show up to a date in this broke down car looking like a bum and see how she handles it.
Right.
To me, that's so stupid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, one, that's not who you really are.
Right.
So let's just say she actually prefers a bum. All right.
So now she thinking you're a bum.
Yes.
Exactly.
And now she finds out you got money and she can't handle it.
Right.
So all you did was set yourself up for
Set
something
yourself up, right?
Yeah.
she can't keep up with.
Right.
So
And
there's no
testing
point
is
in
a
that.
form of games.
Yes.
Exactly. Just be yourself. Just be you. You know what I'm saying? So, but what were we saying before the testing?
I done forgot.
I
Don't worry
forgot.
about it. All right. Well, either way.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you let go of someone who doesn't want the relationship anymore?
I know who asked that one.
I forgot who asked.
I gotta
How
talk
do
to
you
her.
let go of someone? I was trying not to just blurt
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
You just let their ass go. But
Nah, for real.
so because clearly if you're asking that question, that means you're struggling with accepting they
Yeah.
don't want to be with you anymore.
Right.
And you're struggling with the whole idea of walking away from this. So to me,
I gotta say something. Go ahead, Stephan.
you have to get to the root issue as to why this is so hard for you.
Yeah.
The fact that someone is telling you, I don't want to be here,
Right.
and you don't want to accept
Repeatedly
that,
hurting you, yeah.
something is wrong.
Yeah.
All right?
She doesn't want to be alone.
So it could be, I don't want to
know,
be alone.
yeah.
It could be
History.
Man, I done gave so much time to this man all these years.
We done put in all these years.
Yeah, I don't want to walk away from that investment. It could be, I done told, like, you have a situation where a woman, her whole family or friends were telling her this guy was wrong.
Right.
And she fought so long to try to prove them wrong that now she can't walk away and accept that she was wrong the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I mean, that's just a couple examples. There's many
reasons,
why
yes.
people struggle to let go. So you got to dive deeper within yourself to figure out what the root issue is, what's really going on. Because a lot of people, speaking specifically right now to a woman struggling to let go of a man, her struggle is not the man himself.
It's her.
It's the dream, the fantasy of what she had in her head.
Yes.
What she hoped for things to be. Or it's the idea of, I just want to have a relationship. And I'm struggling to let go of that.
Right.
But this man specifically isn't who made you happy anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
So
I agree.
We just got to go deeper to discover what's going on there. And it's going to require a lot of healing.
It is. Yes, she needs
and
a lot
of
healing.
crying.
Yep, I know that's right.
Sometimes it's tough.
And so after the honeymoon stage, how do you keep the excitement in a relationship?
Okay. So there's a couple ways to look at this. The first one I want to address real quick is the whole flame being gone for like long-term relationships and even marriages, right? And I want to bring it up because a lot of people just don't want to be real about what's going on. Majority of the time when the flame is gone after a while is because the attraction left.
Don't say that.
Stephan, no.
Listen. Again, this is what people don't want to be
got
real
me on
about.
that one.
But this is real.
That's crazy.
It is majority of the time the attraction left. Now, that doesn't automatically mean it is just physically based. So I had a client one time where she got married, and 4 years into the marriage, she's no longer attracted to her husband because she feels like she's the one taking care of everything. She makes more money than him.
Right.
He's not ambitious.
So, like, what is he doing for her?
So to her, it's like, I'm raising a child.
Right.
Okay.
And how can I be sexually attracted to a man I view as
It's
a
a
child?
mentality thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. But we're not going to act like that a lot of times it's not a physical issue. All right? And just how y'all reacted is a perfect example of how society makes people feel ashamed of being real about that.
Yeah.
All right? And so you can try all the things you want, but if that attraction is not there, attraction is what allows us to go from a platonic relationship to a romantic one.
Right.
100%.
That's the ingredient. So when you remove that ingredient, we can go from lovers to roommates.
Real
really
quick.
fast. Exactly. So you can't overlook that. But what I always tell people is, so whether it's marriage, whether it's honeymoon phase in dating, and there's nothing I want to address with that, always ask yourself, what was present when things were great?
Right.
Ooh, that's
Right?
a good question.
Like, let's take it back to just reminisce
How
really
are we
quick.
showing up for each other? How are we looking for each other?
Did anything change?
How are we treating each other? How are we talking to each other? All of that. What was in place that is no longer in place? Go back to that recipe first.
So I do have a little background knowledge about that situation.
Okay.
So he met the woman. It was a one-night stand, essentially. She got pregnant. Now they have a kid together.
And I think they're trying to make it work.
Yeah, he's trying to make it work with her.
Okay. So, one, was there really ever a honeymoon?
A honeymoon.
They went straight to
right,
get
they
back
went
the baby.
straight,
I
right,
mean,
yeah.
Quick.
Yeah, so this is what I want
So
to
I
point
guess
out.
through the pregnancy stage, there was, some love there
Yeah.
created.
Sometimes the honeymoon stage is smoke and mirrors. All right, it's an illusion, and people are overlooking the issue. So it may have been that during this pregnancy time, it brought them together because the baby and he wants to be there for her. So but they weren't paying attention to the fact that there was probably other disconnects that existed.
Right.
And because you want to be there, because we're going
For
through
the
this
child,
pregnancy
right.
process, we're going to keep overlooking that and sweep it under the
those,
rug,
right.
or convince ourselves that everything will change once the baby is here. Then the baby gets here and we're like, nothing's changed. We're still having this problem.
Yeah.
And so even if it wasn't a baby, a lot of people, that honeymoon phase is them, they're so distracted by whatever they're
By what's going on.
infatuated with at that moment. So it could just be, let's say you meet someone, y'all kick it, hit it off really fast. Let's say y'all have sex. The sex is amazing,
Right.
So now you're so distracted by that, and
You're not
running
seeing
off
what's
the
really
hype
going
of that.
on.
You don't realize y'all not really feeling
Compatible.
each other.
Yeah, like y'all are not connecting for
And
real.
at some point, that's gonna come to the surface, and now the honeymoon phase, quote unquote, is gone. But it's just the reality that you did not properly evaluate this person, this situation soon enough.
And the connection was never there.
Exactly. That's a good one. What do you do when you feel like the person is the one, but you're unsure about how they feel?
Man, your followers asking these questions.
I know. Nah, yeah, they having real issues, Stephan. In this Miami dating scene,
It's hard.
It's hard out here.
Listen, everybody says that in every city. Ain't no city that believes their dating scene is popping and great.
Yeah,
right?
not for real.
Everybody feels it's a struggle. But all right, so how do you feel like? How do you handle when you feel they're the one? And what was the end of it?
But unsure about how they feel.
But unsure about how they feel. You gotta just go on a limb and tell them how you feel.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna give y'all this quick story. I had many years ago, I received this email, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, if I need your help, I don't know what to do. I'm in love with my best friend." I said, "Okay, what's the problem? Like, why is that a problem? Explain." Well, he just got married 2 weeks ago, and now that he got married, I finally couldn't hold it in any longer. I told him how I feel, and it turns out he's in love with her too. And they
It sounded
feel
like brown sugar.
Okay, literally.
They feel like they're soulmates, but this dude is 2 weeks into a marriage.
Oh, wow.
And so basically, while they were friends, they both had these feelings. Neither expressed it. And for a lot of men, it's like, all right, if a man wants to settle down, he just wants to settle. He's gonna pick whoever's the most logical choice. He's gonna make it
Right.
happen. You know what I'm saying? But had he known she felt that way, this could have been avoided
yes.
a long time ago. So to me, there's no guarantee that this man will think she's the one too. I'm not guaranteeing it's gonna work out, but she won't be able to break out of this gray area that she's in
until she talks to him
and speaks up about the situation.
Exactly. And I know it's scary. You don't want to get rejected, but it's better to be rejected and have resolution than to stay stuck in this area,
stagnant,
and regret it later.
Exactly.
I agree.
And just be consumed, because now, as long as there's no clarity here, you're gonna keep holding on to this in some way, and now it's blocking you from maybe somebody else.
Right, blocking your blessing.
Exactly. So you gotta say something.
So explain the reasons why men tend to mentally check out of a relationship before actually leaving the woman.
Like, why y'all stay there?
Why don't y'all leave? Why don't y'all speak up?
Well, let's not act like women aren't the champions of mentally checking out, yet still remaining for a long time.
Okay, I know that's right.
All right? That's number one. But I will admit that, yes, a lot of men can be miserable and unhappy and won't leave. And there's various reasons. So if they're married, one of those is just a lot of men don't want to deal with the ramifications of divorce. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole cheaper the keeper. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I'd rather just rock with this. And for some men, not all men, they'd rather just get them a side chick and let her take care of the needs and keep the structure of the family intact. You know what I'm saying? To them, it's the best of both worlds. Like, there's some men, I'm not saying this is the right way to do things. I'm not condoning this. But there are some men who feel like the side chick is needed to keep the marriage together.
Oh my gosh, we were going to get to that.
Men do feel like that.
Yeah, so a lot of people feel like that.
That's what some will do. Now, other reasons why a man may not leave is because I think women underestimate how... One, it's not easy for a man, the average man, to just get a relationship that they want. Okay. See, women a lot of times sometimes have other options, all right? Or at least they believe they do. They either have it or they believe they have it. So for them, you know what I'm saying? They can just walk away. For that man, it's like, what am I going to do after this? And it's a lot harder to make stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? Y'all literally, I always use the analogy like, a woman could walk in the bar tomorrow and say, I'm here for sex. She's gonna have a line of men right
So,
there.
Stephan, you don't think that men have a lot of options as well?
The average.
Are
man
you
don't-
serious?
I'm dead serious.
Why y'all feel like that? Like,
I feel
Yeah.
like that's facts.
Okay, a man with money.
He said no.
A man with money.
Even the man with money thing is so misunderstood.
Okay.
Because there are tons of men with money who still can't get a woman.
really?
Because especially if we're talking like cities like Atlanta, Miami, LA, because women don't want, it's not just the money. It's the lifestyle, it's the look of it all.
That's
Right.
true.
And if he doesn't fit certain things, she don't want to rock with him unless it's like, okay, you may have, I'll give an example. Let's say he's an old dude, but he looks older. He's not keeping himself in shape, right?
Yeah.
He's not the greatest looking guy, and he has money. Okay, are there gonna be women who's willing to mess with him? Absolutely. There's
Right.
gonna be tons of women who's gonna say, even though he got money, I still wouldn't do it. You see what I'm saying?
Because he doesn't keep up with himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just because it's just naturally harder because there's so many more variables as to why a woman will or will not deal with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as a woman, as long as you're a good looking woman,
Right.
you're gonna have somebody trying to get your
I don't know,
attention.
Stephan, but it's not gonna last.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
That's a whole
The
different
difference
thing.
is
Okay.
It's easier for women to get a man's attention and to get companionship on some level.
Is it harder?
It is not easier for her to get the serious, committed
keep it.
relationship.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's
To
what I
keep
was
their
trying to
attention.
get. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was getting
Whereas for
to.
men, it is much harder to just get companionship,
Right.
intimacy, all those
Okay.
things. But if he's willing to be flexible with
and
the type
find
of
it.
woman that he wants, yeah, if you're gonna offer commitment, but even then, there are tons of men who could offer the woman the world, and he's still not gonna have no luck.
Okay.
There's a lot of men right now. The problem
There
is
is.
women are more, when society in general, when we talk about what's going on with men and women, we tend to think about it from the perspective of the desirable person. All right? So when women say, oh, these men have all these options, y'all are only thinking about that small pool of desirable men who, yes, have all these
options. Okay.
Because those are the dudes you're paying attention to.
Right.
Those
But
are
we're
the
not-
dudes that you want.
That's
I
true.
get
The
it.
other
I get it
dudes are
now.
non-existent
Right,
to
right,
you.
right.
The ones
So you
we're
don't
not looking at.
register.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's the same way, like, a lot of men feel like women just want money. And I would argue, listen, the majority of women in relationships right now are with a man who doesn't make a whole lot of money.
Right.
So it's
Agreed.
not the reality of how things play out. But when a man tends to say that, he's typically thinking about the desirable woman who has the option to get a man with money. He's not thinking about the girl at the end of the totem pole that has less options. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? Which is why we could make a post right now and say, do women want a man with money, right? And if the women who say no, I don't care, and you look at their profile and to you they're undesirable, you're not paying them no attention.
Okay.
So
That's
it's
true.
like this answer don't even count.
They don't even count. Okay.
We're not even
okay.
looking their way.
Yeah, because you're part of that undesirable group. But let you start seeing some girls who actually desirable say it.
Right.
Now it might change your perspective. The same
Okay.
thing with the men. So but at the end of the day, it is much harder on average for a man to get companionship. And so with that said, that adds to another reason as to why some men will not walk away. A lot of men also are just, like, I've gotten so many DMs from men who will say, man, my girl disrespects me, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that, how do I get her back?
Like, why do you still want her?
That's the
Exactly.
thing. There's a lot of unhealthy
And
attachments.
I was just gonna say.
If she's
So-
disrespecting you,
And
Just
and
leave.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of men who also see, the thing is, women are fed the belief that men are trash. A lot of men have been fed the belief that women are innocent, wonderful people who will only be trash if you're trash too.
right?
Right? In reality, there's tons of trash women, there's tons of trash
Definitely.
men. When I
Agreed.
say trash is a harsh word.
No, it's trash.
Trash. Yeah.
Trash.
Perfect
Keep
word.
it like
Tons
that.
of women and men behaving in unhealthy ways and toxic ways.
Yeah.
So for some of these men, they're brainwashed into thinking, oh, if I just show up the right way, it will fix this. Versus, no, she's just not for you.
She's just not for
Right.
you, right?
This is not
That's
going
it,
to work.
right.
You need to let her go.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's probably been gaslighting him the whole time, making him think it's about him.
Right.
Well, no, the issue is really her in this situation.
That's true. That's a good insight. Is cheating ever okay?
I'm glad I didn't
Look, go ahead, drink up.
No, but listen, let me go into detail. So I guess what they mean by that is like, if someone feels like it's healthy to cheat in a relationship, is that okay? Like, can that ever be a conducive relationship if it works for them?
I can never say it's healthy.
Yeah.
All right. If two people have agreed to that type of dynamic,
Right.
then one, I would argue it's not necessarily cheating.
True.
To
It's
me,
just an
cheating
open
is
relationship.
deception.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
doing something that opposite of what you agreed to do and
Right.
how you agreed to be committed in this
Being
relationship.
disloyal.
But if y'all are in an open relationship,
That's a different story.
That's different.
I can't
Yeah.
call that cheating.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I agree.
Now, again, I still can't use the word healthy.
Yeah.
But if that's what works for y'all and two adults want to choose to do that, that's your choice.
Right.
I'm a big believer in I want at the very least the deception to go away.
Right.
I just want people to be real with
Right.
each other at the very least, because no matter how many times I may say this type of dynamic is best and all this, there's gonna be people who operate outside of that.
Correct.
Right? So the least we can do, I think we can all agree that the lies and the deception is a problem.
Right.
All right.
Just be honest.
And that's what makes it even more unhealthy.
Right.
So I think you can avoid it being toxic if you're being real about it, and that person, man or woman, feels like they're cool with it. All right. That's their choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So how do you deal with not getting closure while the other person involved is unwilling to give you that closure?
So sometimes closure has to start from within.
Within, yeah.
All right.
Accepting the situation.
Exactly.
Making
Acceptance is the key word.
Yeah, I went through
Coming
that.
to a place of acceptance of, all right, this ain't for me. Like,
Yeah.
I think if we were able to really see and accept this person just is not for me,
Right.
then we wouldn't need the extra.
The extra closure and
But
stuff.
because we're refusing to accept that,
Right.
we're dwelling in why hasn't this worked out? Why are you doing this? Why is this happening to me? All this stuff. So now I need more answers. And now that I need more answers, I'm chasing this closure
Right.
from them that they may never give you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I think you have to. Now, there's nothing wrong with trying to have a conversation with someone, but if they're unwilling to give you whatever answers you're looking for,
You can't stay stuck.
Yeah,
You
you just
gotta-
have to be like, all right, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And to me, that's even more proof
That
it's
he-
just not for you, or
Yeah.
at the very least, this ain't the time for y'all.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know?
How do you navigate friends having opinions on the problems going on in your relationship?
So, the first thing you have to recognize is, am I feeding my friends only the negative about the relationship?
That's good.
A lot of people don't realize you only go back to them when you got something to complain about. But you ain't tell them all the good stuff that
Right.
this person was doing. All right? So naturally, if they have a one-sided perspective, they're not going to be looking at it from a positive light. And now that you're trying to convince them, no, it's not that bad. No, you done told me all these bad things,
Yeah.
and now you want me to believe it's not that bad? No.
Exactly.
So I think you got to be mindful of what you've been feeding them, and you just got to remember that ultimately, though they are your friends and they may have, they may generally want the best for you, you have to make the decision that's best for you. You know what I'm saying? To me, if you're a believer, then you got to talk to God more than you talk to your friends.
That's true.
I know that's
And,
right.
like,
Friends
you
will
better
mess your
pray.
relationship up.
I agree.
Listen,
Friends will mess
some of
your
y'all
relationship.
friends, and again, it may not be like consciously intentional.
Yeah.
But will sabotage your relationship because they're jealous.
Yeah, they're mad they single.
They can be mad they're single. They can be mad that you got the man that they wanted.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like, there's a lot of different variables there. So you gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta ask yourself also, am I talking to a friend that speaks from a positive,
Yes.
unbiased place? Or am I talking to, because a lot of y'all know you have
They project.
negative friends.
They
Yes.
project
Or
onto your
are their
situation.
points valid?
Yes.
exactly.
Are the points valid?
And they're speaking from, well, I wouldn't deal with this, so I'm going to tell you not to deal with this.
Exactly.
But it's easy to say what we will and won't deal with when we're not actually
in this situation.
All right, because some of them will say, well, I would never let a man cheat on me. Lo and behold, her man is cheating on her right now. She knows, and she's accepting that.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, be mindful
of who you vent to and ask their opinion.
And it doesn't mean they're not right.
Right.
It just, you don't want to get into the habit of just taking what they say and running with it.
Yeah, I think delivery is important.
Absolutely.
And approach.
So we do gotta get to the advice portion, guys. We gotta. So we do have a segment where we had some people submit some scenario questions to get a little more background knowledge on things. So the first one was, why after 2 years, going on 3, my ex-girlfriend inboxed me on Facebook with an apology after heartbreak, betrayals, lies, slander she caused me. Advice, please.
Wait a minute.
Take it back.
Let's take it back.
This woman broke up with this man. Read it to me again.
Why after 2 years, going on 3,
okay,
my ex-girlfriend inboxed me on Facebook with an apology after heartbreak, betrayals, lies, slander she has caused me. Advice, please.
Okay. So, one, I think, again, we get into this trap of overanalyzing. Okay? Why is she hitting me up now? What's this all about?
Right.
And no one can guarantee what the answer is. It could literally be she had a come to Jesus moment and realized, dang, I was horrible.
Yeah.
I made some mistakes. I need to apologize to that man.
Just want to right her wrongs.
Exactly. On another end, it could be she's been watching you from a distance, see you doing better now, and she's like,
and she's trying to get in with you.
Exactly. It could be things ain't work out with the guy she left you for. He's now out the picture, so she's trying to circle back.
Okay.
We don't know for sure. So instead of trying to worry about the why, let's just take it one step at a time and handle it. All right, she apologized. Accept the apology. Thank you. I appreciate that. Boom.
But we don't need to start this over back again.
Well, now, in evaluating if we need to start this back again, the question becomes, one, was she really the right woman for you? Was the heartbreak due to misunderstandings, a disconnect, immaturity, things that are fixable, or was it symptoms of y'all don't fit together?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? How do you genuinely feel about her? Yeah, you may have been on love with her before, but was that real love? Were you infatuated? To me,
or was it lust?
Exactly. Now, if we go through all that and we realize, nah, this was something real, but again, as human beings, we make mistakes, we do stupid stuff.
Right.
Things went left. All right, then I don't think we need to rule out maybe exploring if we can come back.
Yeah.
But if we know, like, yo, they weren't right for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay,
and
we
just
appreciate
accept
the
that.
apology, great, but it ain't coming back around. We're not doing this again.
I agree.
Okay, another supporter asked, how do I get over a situationship that lasted 3 years? I never really wanted the person, but still got attached. How should I go about this?
You see that attachment shit?
It sucks when you
It's
never
really bad.
wanted them to.
It's really bad.
Man. So, you know, it's funny because I always say, like, you ever see, like, TV shows where there could be a couple and one person's ready to break up? Like, I'm going to break up with them next week. I'm going to talk to them. And before they do it, the other one breaks up with them. And now they're like, oh my God, I gotta get them back. What's going on? Oh my God. And it's like, yo, we don't like to be the one that's dumped. And sometimes our minds play tricks on us, making us think that we have feelings for someone that we never had feelings for. Like that. And so with them, I think it's accepting that this was just an unhealthy attachment.
Right.
And that it is best that y'all finally
just let it go.
Yeah.
It probably shouldn't have even gone on for 3 years.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. So now that we're here, let's accept that. Let's embrace that. But I think what also needs to be done is, again, when we struggle to let go of things that aren't best for us, there's something we haven't healed from. There's a deeper rooted issue that we're not addressing properly. So that individual needs to go deeper within themselves, needs to go through that healing process and see what might be lingering in them that's making this more difficult than it needs to be.
So a lot of this really starts with the person.
Absolutely.
A lot of these questions, I
agree.
like, is an internal thing.
Yeah.
I agree. We'll talk later. But I agree.
We gotta dive deep on that one.
Someone said, I've been with this man for 5 years plus. This is a good one. with no commitment as far as marriage, but I love him. What do I do?
No commitment as far as marriage.
As far as marriage.
We're going to assume they're in an official...
Yes, they're in an
they're in a
official
relationship.
relationship. Yes, we know these people.
Yeah.
Okay. So if she wants marriage, she needs to express that to him.
She did.
She did.
Okay.
We were there.
And how did he respond to that?
How did he respond? I mean, he said it's just not the right time. Eventually, we will get there.
Yeah. Then after he kind of shut down.
Yeah, because
how old are these people, if you don't mind telling me?
in their 60s.
So
In their 60s?
The guy is. The guy.
You're not supposed to judge.
I'm not judging. I didn't expect 60.
No.
Okay,
The guy is
that threw
60.
me off.
He's turning 63, and then the woman.
It's 58.
Okay.
Or, I think.
Yeah, 59.
So here's what's tricky about this. The reason why I asked the age is because to me, a man who's very young, let's say early 20s,
Right.
let's say he's been dating this girl
Yeah.
since high school, it's much more understandable for him to be like, I need more time. He needs time to develop.
Right.
He hasn't grown. I get that, right? Once we are grown adults, it's like,
It's
why do we need more than 5 years to figure out
Right.
what we want to do here?
Right.
What more time do you need?
Do you need, right?
But we are now over 60. And now, like, I would have to sit
It's
down with
ridiculous,
them
yeah.
to figure out what is his
What's
hang-up.
deeper?
What's
what's going on?
We need to arrange.
Yes, we have to arrange that, Stefan.
Like, is he just saying, you know what, I'm at the end of my... And that might be the way he views it. I don't know. 60 is still young, right? But for many people, 60 is still young, okay?
60 to 30.
All right. Young enough. All right, I'm trying to be good with this. But he may have the perception of, yo, I'm too old for having to get remarried again. Let's say he's been married before, okay? He's already been divorced.
And he has.
Okay?
Yes, and
he
has.
So to him, it's like, I don't want to go through that whole
Yeah.
process.
Right,
He's
like
not
a fear.
Yes,
Fear.
he's not fully expressing that.
Right,
And
right.
That may be
instead
what
just
it is.
saying,
I think
just
that's
need
what it
more
is, too.
time. I'm not
Yes.
sure. But he just hasn't come to peace within himself.
But the
about-
woman's like, how much time do you need? We're about to die.
And so
That's ridiculous.
this is where it goes back to, you got to be willing to put your foot down
Yeah.
and stand strong on what you desire.
Right.
If you want marriage and he's not willing, because here's the thing. All right, let's say he's not sure, he needs more time. My thing is, we're year 5. You know what you're getting with each other.
Right.
There's nothing else I can do that's going to change your perspective
Yeah.
of me. Unless it's a specific issue that we've discussed that hasn't been corrected yet.
Right.
There's nothing else for me to do. So, if you can't make up your mind, a perfect analogy that I always give. If you have to work as an intern at a company, so you're working for free for 6 months, and after 6 months the company said, I like you as an employee, you're amazing, we want you to keep working here, but we're not ready to pay you just yet. All right, just
We're
hold
gonna
on
go
tight
find better.
while we figure
Let's
out
go
what we're
find
gonna
better.
do.
Let's-
You're gonna leave, exactly, because there's nothing else for you to show them.
Right.
They either want to hire you full time or they don't. At this point, he either wants to marry her or she doesn't. So it's walking away, and it could be walking away with the understanding of if you resolve whatever your fear is, and you're willing to take that next step, hit me up, and if I'm still available,
Then-
we'll cross that bridge.
Exactly.
When we
But
get
I'm
there.
not gonna stay here, because staying
Yes.
here is actually enabling his
Yeah.
hesitation.
Yeah, it's
And it's
making him
hurting
think
her.
it's okay.
Exactly.
And it's
And
not going to help.
And let's
her.
just say again, let's just say he's not maliciously doing this. He's not playing her.
Right.
He
He's
has
not,
a deeper
yeah.
fear. Okay. Facing fears is hard. If I'm already getting the benefit of being with you, why would I force myself to face the fear?
Right.
I'm gonna keep
And
it
that's-
under the rug.
And that's why you said she needs to
She
leave.
needs to break it off and
Right.
set that
Because
boundary.
another analogy I give is like, if your job hired you and said it takes a master's to work here, but I'm gonna hire you in the meantime. You can get your master's while you work.
Exactly.
If getting a master's is hard to you, you're gonna drag your feet on getting
Right.
a master's.
Okay.
You already got the job. You're already getting paid. There's no incentive at that point
That's
of
the
facing
one.
the hard stuff
Okay.
and doing the work.
Exactly.
You're
only
already
thing
getting all the benefits.
But if they
Yeah.
fire you,
Right.
oh, you're gonna hop yourself in that master's class ASAP.
And figure out what
Okay.
you need to do.
You're going to get your shit together.
Exactly.
Just
That's
together.
it. If you're serious about having that thing
Right.
in person.
Right.
Well,
Is it
unfortunately,
time?
yeah, we have ran out of
Damn.
time,
We have more
y'all.
questions
We
left.
answered as much as we could. Yeah.
We're glad you joined with us.
We are.
Maybe we'll do a part 2.
Yeah, maybe we'll be.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Mojo Motion out.